Good morning, YouTube. Welcome to my new series on interviewing healers, local and international, that I've worked with. We have an amazing, I call them healers, but you're so much more than that. I mean, even the word healers is so much more than the word healers, okay? But practicing different modalities that they offer to the community, that they give to other people in service to help people with healing. And healing comes in all different layers, comes from diet, psychological, emotional, spiritual. So all different dimensions of healing. We have Miss Jocelyn here, and I'm going to let her introduce herself and share with you all her certifications and her services that she offers here in the local community. Jocelyn is a local healer. She is here in Southern Pueblo, Colorado and I got to meet her this summer, actually. Huh, Jocelyn?
It was a summer, yes.
Welcome, Miss Jocelyn. Introduce yourself.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here. So my name is Jocelyn Martinez, and I am in the Pueblo area, but I am the owner of SOULSMILE Health and Wellness. I am I'm a lot of certified, so I'm just going to say what I am, but I'm a certified health coach, a master transformational methods coach, an empowered well-being coach, and then a gut health coach, as well as a healthy lifestyle chef. And that's what I do in town. So
that's how I first met you, before I knew all of the certifications. Was she hit my belly with her amazing cooking. Oh my gosh.
that was so fun.
So yummy. And that's amazing, offering all those different dimensions of support for people. Oh my gosh.
I think, it all goes together,
Yeah,
So, people assume a health coach, the first thing that they say is, oh, you can help me lose weight. And I'm like, yes, that's a bipartisan of the healing process. So it all works together. And that's my passion, is showing that it's like whole body.
yeah.
So.
And healing from the wholeness state, from a holistic way, is whole healing. Mind, body, spirit.
Exactly. It's all connected, and to think that they're not is, I think a way that we've been taught to look at it, it's like everything's decompartmentalized, but it really is one whole being with moving parts,
Yes, exactly. So what is your favorite to offer? I really want you to take it away and just highlight, your services, and highlight what you are inspired by and what inspires you to show up in this way, to be of service.
Yeah, so it really started with my own healing journey. I was corporate for a long time, and I was killing myself, but didn't realize it. And so when I went on my own journey of really diving deep into like what these issues were, it really came down to the gut. It came down to the gut. It came down to inflammation. It came down to stress, and so all those work together. And that's what I mean, like as a whole, we talk about like mind, body, spirit, but if we're not healing our gut, we're not healing our mind. And then unfortunately, our spirit starts to feel that pain as well.
Yeah.
So
So can you just kind of collaborate? What negative manifestations were you experiencing? Because I want
oh my
people.
gosh.
Yeah. Were their diagnosis, were.
So for me, I actually, so a lot of my journey started with a implant that I had that actually gave me a nickel poisoning, which actually turned into an autoimmune disease. So when I was done with that, I got really sick at the time because I was literally being poisoned from inside my body.
Nickel poisoning. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Here.
huge. But at the time, I was working out, and I apologize if I drop a cuss word in here. Sometimes I will do
It
that.
could be organic. We're humans.
It might happen.
Yeah.
But no, like through my journey, I was like, okay, I'm eating healthy. I'm working out. Like, I don't understand why I'm not getting better. I don't understand why I'm in so much pain.
You were being so diligent because you were using your own training too, right? Was this before you got trained, or maybe your own?
This was before. This
Okay.
actually, my journey triggered this.
Okay. Okay.
Which is amazing, and I
Yeah.
always tell people like our biggest pain is usually what ends up being our purpose, which ends
Yep.
up bringing us closer to our purpose, right?
That
And
is a
so,
common pattern that I see with healers. Yep.
yeah,
So
it's
it's amazing because it's personal purpose. Hmm.
so personal, it's so personal. And it's so hard to go on that journey or else everyone would do it, right?
Yep.
But that's why we are healers and that's why we do come to be called to this. But for me personally, I mean, it affected everything from um, I would have rashes on my body. I would have back pain so bad I couldn't walk.
Mm.
My entire body was swollen. Um, I had headaches for over 2 years.
Oh
And
my
I'm not
God.
talking it's like a headache. I'm talking like every single day. I had like a
Found that.
4,
Yeah.
that would go to like an 8. They thought I was having epileptic seizures. So I
Oh
was
my
getting
gosh.
all these things. I mean, I had no energy. I
What kind
definitely did
of
not.
implant did you have, sister? Did it get recalled? Like something
It
like that?
did. It
Okay, good.
did.
My,
Did.
uh,
Um, so yes, no one else can ever get it. It was actually the Esher birth implants. So
oh, good.
yes, and I actually am part of a huge lawsuit against Bayer, and we all won, and we got it off the market. It can't be sold in the world anywhere. No other women will ever have to deal with that.
Great.
But the like catalyst of that was
Right.
really like my body was so sick years after my hysterectomy that I had to get that I started looking into why I still wasn't getting better. So I went to a holistic doctor and they were like, "Oh my gosh, you're allergic to like the top 3 allergens." So I'm allergic to gluten, I'm allergic to dairy, and I'm allergic to shellfish.
Oh, wow.
Um,
Yeah, the major allergies. Hmm.
all of them.
Maybe major
But the
dietary allergies.
Oh my gosh, yeah, and it's things that people eat all the time,
Yep.
and that we don't realize that there's certain things like age or certain things that happen to our body that can also change what we're allergic to and what we're intolerant to, and so it's good to kind of build that communication with your body so you listen to it
Yes.
and
Be
know
connected.
something's wrong. Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah, so anyway, I had to cut those out. I had to cut them out. I was so inflamed. And it was just crazy to me because I had been asking my regular doctors, could I be allergic to something? And they were like, no, like never did the test, and I got so tired of making it feel like I was crazy that I thought maybe I was.
Yeah, totally.
um, but once I changed the way I ate, I had H. pylori, I had a candida overgrowth, I had leaky gut.
Mm.
So because I was eating Greek yogurt, Ezekiel bread, like I was eating things that I thought were good for me, but they weren't. They were actually
Mhm.
causing so much damage.
Also
So,
acidic, right? All
oh
those things are
yeah,
very acidic.
hmm
Mhm.
very acidic, very inflamed. So I went through that journey of doing a cleanse, and I went through the journey, and I was already doing some coaching at this time, with some
Okay.
training. Um, but I really decided to change everything, and I didn't even realize how sick I was until I wasn't sick
Mm.
anymore,
Yeah.
which is crazy to me,
Hmm. And then
and
that how that
there's
took like a role on integration of your new state of being that you were at. Wow.
oh yeah, it took me about a year to get even somewhat normal,
Wow.
and I was like, no one else should have to go through this. I was like, oh my gosh, there's so many people who are going through this and they don't even realize that they have control over how they feel. And it's not in a pill. It's not in, you know,
It's not in a pill, it's not in a partner,
no, it
it's
is
not in a
literally,
career.
it is the only person who could do it for you is yourself.
Hmm.
There's no one else. And the
True.
beauty of it is we can control what we put into our bodies.
Yes. And start
Just,
to claim that sovereignty over us, right?
yes,
Oh, how
sure.
amazing. Wow. So, yeah, share with us. Thank you for sharing your story. It's very personal and heartfelt. And I love that because it's so personal, that it's so custom and so much inspiration there, and that's what I think adds so much value to things. When, I know you have the Soul Smiles um, services, the food preparation that you offer, and then you're getting a truck soon, right?
I have the
Okay.
truck.
Oh,
So,
you have a truck. Yay!
oh, girl, I've had that thing since. So when I lost my brick and mortar, the day that I found out I had 30 days, I had this trailer 5 days later.
Oh, wow.
So I've had it for a while, but I'm gonna finally get to reopen next month. And so I'm like so excited.
This is a dream come true for me. This is
Uh,
what you're offering to the world, is what I wanted to see in physical manifestation, is healthy food trucks.
just healthy anything. I mean,
Mm,
quite frankly, it's really hard to eat, especially when you have, a certain dietary lifestyle that you have to follow.
mhm.
I mean, you don't have to. You could choose to like be in chronic pain, or you can choose to be healthy. And
Yep.
so for me, there's not a lot of places to eat. And since I'm dairy free and gluten free, it's
Yeah.
really hard to find them together.
Right.
Um, and I was like, this is ridiculous, where it's always the same stuff. I'm like, no, like I'm a foodie. So I'm like, I want to eat everything that I love.
And change
I'm
it up,
just,
huh?
I'm going to switch it.
Yep.
You
So it
know,
doesn't feel so repetitive. And you're so great at that. The meal that you prepared for us was amazing and different and gluten-free and vegan.
Mhm. That
Yeah.
was a fun one,
Oh
though.
my gosh. I'm so excited to see you in town with your food truck. And will you still have your personal services as far as preparation too? You still gonna have that?
So, yeah, the reason I went this route was because I needed a space. I was losing mine, and I'm gluten-free, dairy-free. So like I'm really like strict about like that being my kitchen. And so I it's really hard in Pueblo to find commercial kitchens, and it's really kind of hard everywhere, believe it or not. Um, so I bought one.
Yay!
Yeah, so it's a
Problem
45 foot,
solved.
it's a 45-foot trailer. It's a commercial kitchen. And so actually I will do all my meals out of there. So I will still have my healthy lifestyle meal program that is a delivery program in
Yes.
Pueblo.
Ah,
Um, I will
amazing.
still be doing caterings and things like that. But the beauty of it is I will actually be able to do more, which will be able to open it to the public where it is. I will not move this thing. It's huge.
Okay. Okay. So you're gonna be at a stationary location.
I will.
Okay,
Yes.
great. That's
Yeah.
wonderful. That's so amazing. I encourage everyone to try her meals. They're delicious. And I know a lot of people, there's a lot of stipulation out of there when like, oh, it's vegan, it's gluten free, it's not going to have flavor. And no, that's not the truth. By
No, it's so
It's
not the
more
truth. And
satiating,
that's
actually. It's more satiating.
it is,
Mhm.
and it's like a lot of my people are like, oh my gosh, your meals are so big. And I'm like, well, it's just different,
Yeah.
when you start eating that way. But the greatest thing is, you don't just get like, oh, I have this meal prep woman for me who makes healthy meals. Awesome. You also get like one-on-one time with me before you become a client. So I can really get clear. There's an assessment form so that I like get to know exactly like what your struggles are, what your goals are, what we need to heal, and how we get there
Mm,
through your food. And
mhm.
so, you kind of get a coach too, because I also do some of the delivering. So I'll be like, hey,
How's it
how's the
doing?
meals going? Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then we have a relationship, we have a conversation, and like, if you're my client, you can text me and be like, hey, I've noticed that my stomach feels weird when I eat quinoa, and
Yeah.
it's like, oh, we need to heal your leaky gut.
Mhm.
um, but still, it's like you get more than just the meals, but
Yeah,
also,
because you're so knowledgeable. Yeah.
well, I've tried some stuff like, I'm gluten free myself, I'm dairy free myself. I've tried a lot of products. But also if you're vegan with me, I don't use any faux meats at all. You get vegetables, like
Yeah.
that's what you're gonna get,
Whole
like
Foods.
real food, real whole
Mhm.
food. Yeah. So
Mhm.
I always stress that to my vegans and like let people know that they can trust, like when they get meals from me, it's gluten-free, it's dairy-free. If you're vegan, it's vegan, because like to the core of me, like to my soul, I could never like try to cut a corner. So
Right.
I'm
Cross
always
contaminate.
like,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
like I
Mhm.
read the labels, I look into the things that I
That
use.
happens here in town. I was vegan for 9 months and they unfortunately sometimes cross contaminate or give you false information. So you have an integrity built behind your business. You're like,
I do.
I will honor what your morals are and ethics.
It's
Yeah.
like you have to. Like I'm like seriously, like even thinking about it, I'm like, oh, like the thought, like it like stresses me out.
She's very type A, which is so great for what she offers, right, Jocelyn?
I am so type A. Oh my gosh. That's like one thing I've been working on. Um,
I think it's great. I think everyone's character, personality traits and their types, and that's your gift to the world. Don't change it.
oh, thanks.
You're
Yeah.
welcome. I think it's great.
Um,
I wish I could be type A. So maybe I
it's
shouldn't
like
wish.
a
Come on, maybe I shouldn't wish for it.
so I'm like, my poor husband's like, I can't ever like surprise her because I'm like, I always know.
Yeah. And so
Oh,
if they want to, I'm so excited to try your food. I'm so excited for everyone that it's so going to be so accessible. And I mean, it already is with your delivery food services that you're offering, but getting into more depth and more care and more custom the care that you provide is your coaching programs where you hold space for people that are wanting to, oh my gosh, I didn't even know you did what did you call the mindful, I'm sorry, the second
trans. Are you talking about
the
transformation
transformation.
process
Yes.
methods?
What is that? That sounds amazing.
Ooh,
That
so
kind of
that goes.
rang my ears.
You're like, what is that? So transformational coaching methods is really diving deep into like your core um, belief system, your core habits, and really looking into like the inner child healing as well, and saying like, where did this come from? Why do I do this? And reprogramming it and
Mm.
healing it so that you don't go back into that habit. Like you make it aware,
Right.
and then you do some inner healing, figure out where it came from, and start building down those boundaries and creating new habits so that you don't stay
Mhm.
stagnant with them.
Mhm.
But it really is like a trans it's transforming your belief pattern, because
Mm.
we all have like our beliefs come from somewhere, right? And they're usually between the ages of 0 and 3. I'm a firm believer that it goes back even further,
Mhm.
into ancestral. And I always think like, hey, my grandma had me in her wound. Like, what was she going through? Like, what did that? But
Oh
so
yeah.
it's all of that. But it really is taking a step back and diving super deep and recoding so that you show up in the world with the confidence and being the person that you want to be without reverting back to these negative habits that you have that sometimes we don't even realize we have them.
Yeah, right, because they're unconscious, right? And so you help bring that unconscious to the conscious.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is all scientifically backed up. Like all
Oh,
your certifications are all scientifically backed up. So I just want to emphasize that. And as you were saying with like the ancestral beliefs, like the traumas and things, that's scientifically backed up too. So if anyone wants to see any more of those videos, I will put some down below in the description of this video. And by the way, all of Joslin's contacts will be down below too, her social medias, her websites and everything too. So you could reach out to her. Yeah, but it's getting really real, right? You help
mm,
people get really aligned, bring them aware of their unconscious limiting dysfunctional patterns.
it is. It's also like becoming aware of how you speak to yourself, really. Like,
Yeah.
you could call it the critter brain, or sometimes I
Yeah.
call it the itty bitty shitty committee. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like it pops
Uh-huh.
up, all those
Mhm.
things. Like it's really tapping into that too and making it aware of like, oh, I know why that's coming up. But
Mhm.
I also created this amazing way to overcome it,
Yeah.
and hold space for yourself in a kind and loving way. Like, oh, you're just trying to protect me. This is like
Right.
it's okay. I don't need you right now. Let's move into something different.
Mhm.
But unless we have the tools and really like a coach, like a supporter to say, hey, this is usually where you stop, you know, let's go further. I'm
Right.
here to support you over that threshold. So,
Right. The threshold, the upper limit.
mhm,
Read that book.
yeah.
I think it's called The Upper Limit. Read that book. I just got that book, was suggested that book by my coach. I just got out of a container. And this last year was the first time I ever purchased coaching myself. And it's the best investment I could have ever made. It's
Oh my
You get
gosh.
real about how you feel. You build up self-discovery, self-intimacy, self-love. We all hear that word, self-love. What's self-love? Self-love, so vague, right? No, you get really intimate with yourself and you meet yourself with so much grace. And your coaches hold that space and they have the perfect blueprint, like the perfect blueprint that they customize for you. They really get to know who you are, what you need, very help you get clear on your needs. And then what's great with Miss Jocelyn, she'll even help you with your diet too, because let thy food be thy medicine, right?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I always say that. Like, our food is our medicine. Like,
Mhm.
telling you, like, health is wealth, 100%.
What we put
Um,
into our bodies is fuel, like what we put in our cars. And, if you love your car, you're not going to go to the cheap gas station that has water diluted gas. So the
yep.
way I've always kind of seen it, if you love your body, you want it to be working at its most fullest capacity, because we do have energy in us too, right? That's why the doctors, when we go into cardiac arrest, I forgot what that's called, but that
Oh,
energy,
when
right?
they,
Mhm.
yeah,
Because we need minerals to help support that energy, to be that conduit of that the circuit of energy flowing us through fluidity too. Yesterday I didn't eat and I had like a little emotional breakdown, see, because my blood sugar dropped. So I was like,
yep.
that's why I can't let that happen unless I'm well prepared that that's going to happen.
But
Placing
it's
your emotions.
awareness,
Mm-hmm.
it was awareness that you have already done some work to say, oh, wait, it's because I didn't eat. Like, I didn't prepare myself right. Like, I
Right.
know what to do better next time. But maybe, like, 6 months ago, you would have been like, oh, I'm just in a terrible mood,
Right,
you know?
exactly. But I have the awareness behind it now. So I always share some stuff on my Facebook and I always tell people show up for yourself. And I don't know if they know what that means, but exactly what we're talking about is what I mean. And like fully loving yourself, being your greatest care, your greatest nurturer, being the mother archetype to yourself.
Right. And that's like, with food or with any journey, really, we all have a stopping point, right? And
Yeah.
it's usually, when you're with a coach, it's usually 5 weeks in. And we're like, hey, self sabotage is going to show up today.
Yeah.
Um,
How long
but
are your containers that you offer? What are
I
your
do
program?
3 months. I do
Okay,
a
90
3-month
days.
program,
Uh-huh.
90 days. And then I also do a 6-month program.
Nice.
Yeah, and 6 month is really when someone's like, hey, like my medical, like my gut is really trash. Like, we have to do a kill off and then we have to rebuild and then we have
Oh,
to
yeah.
change habits, all of that is time.
So yeah.
Um,
So if someone has really high inflammation and they're taking,
mm,
ibuprofen twice a day, like you could get holistic and change just your eating patterns and your habits and get off of that ibuprofen, because we know that is not good for our organs to be consistently doing that.
oh yeah, and that usually when people are going through a health journey, they usually get sick a lot. So they're usually on a lot of antibiotics. Um,
So true. Why does
and
that happen? Why does your immunity drop? I remember when I was vegan. Yeah, I got the flu that year. I'm like, what the hell, vegan? You're supposed to be supporting.
Well, it could just be too that you're not taking in like enough minerals and enough immune supporting things when you're vegan, and sometimes, not saying all vegans do this, but sometimes, I know a lot of vegans who are not healthy vegans.
Yeah,
Um, and so it
get clear
really,
on that.
it
Mhm.
really, really, really matters like how you're going to go on that journey. And also when you're with me and like we're working on gut, we're working with healing, we have to remember to be patient and graceful with ourselves, like
Right.
you, because like you said, self-care, self-love is not always pretty. It's actually pretty messy.
And they don't teach us this in school. So this is a whole new way of finding and healing yourself and listening. They don't teach this in school. That's
In
what's so
school,
great
they
about
do
you
this.
coaches.
they do this in school. Like, no, just be quiet, push it down, doesn't
Push it
matter.
down. Mm-hmm.
Right. And
Right.
so society has broken that communication between our bodies and our minds. We don't listen to our bodies the way we're meant to, as a whole spirit, like a whole moving cell. Like, we should be listening to ourselves.
Yes, I love
So
that.
once we go on this journey, we crack that open, and then all of a sudden we're like, whoa, my body is talking to me in all these crazy ways, and it could show up as bloat, headaches, like all this stuff. And so as a coach, like, I'm always like, keep going. Like, I promise
Yeah.
it will go away, but
Yeah. Having that support.
changing a lot, you know.
Yes. Oh, that's wonderful, Jocelyn. So wonderful. I also wanted to ask you about, I recently heard about kale because, kale got so much highlight about being a superfood. I recently heard, though, that you should actually massage it with a good fatty oil before you eat it to even get the full digested mineral based content out of it. So they say, like, grab avocado oil and just massage it and eat it. That we shouldn't really be even eating it raw. Is that true? Do you know anything about that? I'm like,
Okay, it's like you've been talking to one of my friends. I
yes,
swear.
we all have
So
the same friends now.
one of my clients, I swear, every time I see him, and he's a friend of mine, I'm friends with his wife. Every time I see him, he's like, there she goes again, talking about massaging the kale. Every time someone brings up kale to me, I'm like, hey, make sure you're massaging that. And he was like, just like last week, was like, there she goes again, massaging the kale. And I'm like, seriously?
It's funny, but if it's true, it's like,
So it is a thing. So kale is um it's a very tough kind of lettuce, right?
it's
So
like a jerky almost, like, you know what I
it
mean?
is. So
Yeah.
remember, like, don't like eat the stems, like those are terrible. Like, get rid of them, pull the leaves off. But you want to just massage it even with like some lemon juice, a little bit of
Okay.
salt, maybe some oil. But what it does is it breaks down those enzymes and starts to soften the leaf, because if it isn't, it actually will scratch our intestines, our stomach.
Wow. No way.
So yeah,
We
so
can give
it'll
ourselves a
actually,
little bit more time. Don't worry.
okay, which will cause some inflammation, because it's literally scratching the insides.
Wow. See, and
And
this is what's great about a coach, because I heard that and I was like, is that propaganda? I really want to ask a
no,
coach. So, see, if I was in your care, we'd get clear about that. And then it gives me, the client, your clients, the benefits to get all the micronutrients out of their food. And we could really start living a beautiful, healthy life. And like they said, it's not about longevity. Yes, that is a byproduct about longevity. It's about quality of life, beautiful souls, right? And I love that
oh,
your small smile says soul smiles. It has the word soul in it too, because that word speaks to me too. But
oh yeah.
like, and when you are well and you're tapped into your optimal well-being, you do feel your soul's radiance, right, Jocelyn? Wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah, when you eat like healthy food, you're gonna get a higher vibration, right? Like, you're gonna get a different energy. You're going to not have like the slumps or feel like, ugh. You feel like, okay, I just nourished myself. My insides are happy. I'm like good to go.
Yep.
So it's so important. But yes, people, massage your kale.
Massage your kale, everybody. You are just a well of knowledge, Miss Jocelyn. You're an inspiration. You are a mass producer. Oh my gosh, look at all that you provide to the community. I hope Pablo knows how how valuable you are, and they take advantage. So please, everybody, go down in the description box of this video and go follow her, because she shares great recipe ideas. She'll share her meals that she's making for everybody. If anything, it's a little food porn,
It
and
is.
her knowledge as well. And supporting a local business is, I'm always for supporting local businesses. As you know, I'm an entrepreneur too, and been one since I was 22. So yes, thank you, Miss Jocelyn. Is there anything else that you'd like to close out with?
No, just thank you so much for having me today. I just love that you're doing this, because there's so many amazing healers in this city
Community.
that we live
Yeah.
in. And our community is full of people who really just want to share their knowledge and their journey and their passion. Um, and when we rise up, the community rises up and
Exactly.
health
Mhm.
is where it's at. So
Exactly. I love that. And I just want to mention one last thing. When I started eating really good and got clear on my diet, like you said, you mentioned the body starts to talk, and it's so true. That body started to talk to me not only to let it know what healthy, but even in my relationships. Like I even am more receptive to like who is a conducive friend for where I'm at in my life. So it could help you with your relationships, which ultimately help you with your emotional and your psychological state too. So it's really all coincide with mind, body, spirit, and all those branches that are so important for us to have the functioning balance in to have a prosperous, beautiful, fulfilling life. So it's truly
yes,
medicine. Thank you, Miss Joslyn. So nice to have you
thank
on
you.
here. And thank you, everybody. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up because it really helps my algorithm on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and go follow Miss Joslyn. We will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.